Alright guys, we're back again. That's Tom and I in the pressure cooker. That is...
Me and Tom.
Me and Tom. I can't even talk anymore. We've been talking for like an hour and a half now on all these friggin' E3 2012 games. This time we're going to discuss Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, which also is a bad name, I think.
Well, they had All-Stars first, before
That's true, they did beat Sony to the punch. And I guess Mario beat them all with Mario All-Stars. On Super Nintendo.
That's going back.
Yep, that's going way back. I'm old. I'm not Tom
older.
Old. You are older. So I never got into Sonic All Stars, the first one. I really enjoyed this game though, playing it because it felt a little bit like Diddy Kong Racing, and that you're flying in water elements as well. And I guess you could say the same thing about Mario Kart 3, Mario Kart 7. But this game actually is a little bit different because in Mario Kart you're only gliding and you drive underwater. In this game you're actually flying and you drive on the water. So
yeah, it feels more important in Sonic racing than it does in Mario Kart 7 for those segments.
I actually totally agree. It actually feels more like a greater diversion in the game than it did in Mario Kart. Like in Mario Kart, it's like, okay, this is like a big jump, and now I'm driving under the water. Like it never really felt terribly different. In this game, your entire vehicle transforms, and the controls actually change substantially. Yeah,
in the first Sonic one, the whole time I'm thinking, why aren't I just running as Sonic?
Right.
Like in Sonic R?
Yeah, like a Sonic R.
Yeah, Sega Saturn. In this one, I loved how each lap of the race was different, where it was karting, then you're on the boat. It seemed a lot like Hydro Thunder, especially with I was in the Panzer Dragoon section, and going over waterfalls, basically. And then a flying section, finally, for the last lap.
That's actually an interesting point. Well, a couple things there. One, it actually does give context to why Sonic needs a car now, because he actually transforms and he can't fly by himself, so it actually gives a good reason for that.
Sonic can do anything!
Second, I guess if he's Super Sonic.
Yeah.
Secondly, though, yeah, what else was cool about the game was the levels themselves transformed to some degree. Not all of them, but like the Panzoon. The Dragon. I can't even talk anymore.
Panzer Dragoon.
Yeah, thank you. I'll just go off what you said.
Prometheus.
The level, the first lap, like, is all kart based, and I'm like, well, that's slim. There should be a flying segment in this. But then in the second lap, there's a water segment. And in the third lap, you're flying through the entire thing, basically. And that is really cool. Like, it represented the franchise pretty well, I thought, and it felt really good, like flying through the same environments that just moments before you'd driven and, you know, motorboated through.
I can see the race is getting pretty boring if it was just, let's say you only could have the cart. That was a pretty long lap, but then it's like a whole new race with the different vehicle. There's a different area on the map. Yeah.
So, did you play all? What maps did you play? There were 3 maps available, I believe.
I only got to play Panzer Dragoon.
Okay. So I also played Monkey Ball. There was a third. You remember what the third map was? No, I'll take that as a no.
I don't remember.
Okay, that constantly facing the look. I'll take as a no. The Sonic, the Monkey Ball level was pretty cool. I think they had Monkey Ball levels in the previous one as well, though, right?
Probably, because he was a character.
Yeah, he was a character, and I think it felt pretty similar to that I remember. Although it's gonna be pretty embarrassing if we find out after there was no level in that game. I'm just making up this comparison.
We'll have to go back in time and change it.
I actually thought something that the level missed out on that I thought I would have would be like a tilting portion of the level, you know, like because Monkey Ball will be about tilting around, tilting the level,
sliding blocks maybe that you have the time going across,
kind of like Daisy Cruiser from Mario Kart Double Dash.
Guitar strings, and maybe the shortest route is this thin string that just fall off and die every time.
I thought the level was pretty good. I thought the graphics as a whole were really good.
I'm not usually impressed by graphics this day and age, but I guess comparing it to Mario Kart, I was floored, as you might say.
Right. It's interesting. I wonder why. Maybe this is for a different discussion, but I wonder why it is. This is drawing more favorable comparisons to Mario Kart than Sony PlayStation All Stars, or than PlayStation All Stars is to Smash Brothers.
Maybe because Sega's been beaten down for so long, we feel like they're the underdog at this point.
That's true. I guess they no longer have their own console, so it's less of a divisive issue. Yeah, and some other way they're trying to change it compared to Mario Kart is that the items are a little bit different too. Like they're making a conscious effort to make the items different from how they are in Mario Kart. I'm trying to remember offhand items that I saw in the demo.
Okay, there was, if you're up in first, you had a glove, like a baseball glove that held behind you that would catch items.
Catch items behind you, right.
This
is pretty cool, like a shield basically. Could you then use them, do you know, or?
I think it just blocked it, that's my recollection.
Okay. There was a speed boosting item, I know.
Speed boost, of course.
Any others?
I forgot what the attacking item was.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. God, I'm drawing a blank. There was some kind of projectile, I think, but it didn't function like red shells, as I remember, dude.
No.
Yeah, I can't quite remember.
If it's just a missile, but...
Yeah. But I remember the items being kind of fun to use, even though I can't remember what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, any other thoughts on Sonic All-Stars?
Going back to why it seems different, like I didn't even think about the gliding and going underwater, or it was going on top of water. It wasn't actually underwater. I didn't compare that to Mario Kart 7. It seemed very different.
I agree. Like even though Mario Kart 7 had those elements, like you don't even think about it when you're playing it, because it does feel totally different. It feels more a part of the gameplay than kind of being bolted on like it was in Mario Kart.
Yeah, and I believe another reason is because Mario Kart 7 always feels like a go-kart track, even on DK Mountain.
Right.
You still sort of see the road. This seems like you're just going around in a world racing, and far more open or far longer stretches.
Yeah.
It seems faster too.
That's true. I agree with that. Okay, actually, and before I end this, I would say it's actually probably one of my favorite games I played there. I actually I really enjoyed it. Like, nothing amazing, but I did enjoy my time with it. I'm looking forward to more.
Yeah, I hope the multiplayer aspect is competitive and has things like Mario Kart where it keeps close.
And actually, one other thing they're doing that's cool is in the previous game, they had just a set of tracks. They had a bunch of tracks, but they had several based on the same IP. So they would have like several, a House of the Zombie or House of the Dead tracks and several Monkey Ball tracks. Whereas now it's one per franchise, and I think that seems like less of a cop out. It feels better.
Yeah, they're not combining them or anything like All Stars, which we didn't mention.
That's true, we didn't mention that. But I think people know that.
Yeah.
So. Okay, well that wraps up our Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed. Make sure to check out the rest of our discussion videos for games we played from the E3 show floor. Thanks for watching.
Everybody's Supersonic Racing.
Everybody is.